Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mint Conditions Live, the show that explores the world of sports cards, trading cards, NFTs, memorabilia, and much, much more. My name is Brad Parker. I'm your host. Check out our show on the Score's Instagram page. It comes out weekly. Go to the Instagram of the Score and click that IGTV tab, and you will see 9 episodes of Mint Conditions. Last week, we talked all about the craziest memorabilia, and it's perfect timing because we have a very special guest joining us in a couple minutes. I'm going to bring him on. What up, chat? What up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? Thanks so much for having me back on Mint Conditions Live, Episode 5. Last week, we had a very fun episode where we explored the world of the strangest, the weirdest, the most obscure, out-of-the-ordinary pieces of sports memorabilia to ever sell. I'm talking, Ty Cobb's dentures, kind of gross. Nolan Ryan's used jockstrap from his last no-hitter, his 7th. Joe Frazier's used jockstrap from the fight of the century where he defeated Muhammad Ali, which is insane. I would love to own that, but it's pretty wild. Like, how many people want that? Luis Gonzalez's chewed gum, which sold for, I think, $10,000, which is pretty wild. How much do you think Mike Trout's chewed gum would sell for? LeBron James game-used high school mouthguard, which I would love to have. I'm a huge LeBron fan. I would do anything for a LeBron James game-used mouthpiece. That's a one-of-one from high school. Pretty dope, not going to lie. I'm a nerd when it comes to that stuff. The memorabilia game, all about it. I have a ton of stuff. And but the guest we're bringing on, he's got a ton of stuff as well. So I am so hyped, beyond hyped, to talk to this man. So we're gonna flood the chat when he joins us. But what else did we talk about? O.J. Simpson's getaway car, the Ford Bronco, the infamous Ford Bronco from 1994 from that chase that rudely interrupted my New York Rangers Stanley Cup Finals appearance and my New York Knicks Finals appearance against the Rockets. They lost, but guess what, folks? The Knicks are back. They're back. I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm coming to you guys live from New York City. I just want to yell it out the window. The Knicks are back, ladies and gentlemen. Julius Randle, MVP. Am I crazy for saying that? Yes, but we never know. He might get MVP. No. He's not going to get MVP, but maybe he'll get a vote or two. It's just nice to see that the Knicks are back. Also, guys, a men's urinal signed by Barry Sanders from the Silverdome Arena where the Detroit Lions used to play. Certainly sold as well. It's just crazy how sports memorabilia are huge right now, and it's so cool to be able to have a platform to talk about that stuff. I'm going to bust out some of my favorite sports cards. I didn't get to bring my crazy pieces of memorabilia with me because my parents, unfortunately, wouldn't trust me in bringing it back to New York City. I have roommates. I have parties. I have little get-togethers. I'm cooking all the time. God forbid something happens, and these priceless pieces of history could go up in flames, could get flooded, or could get stolen by one of my untrustworthy friends. So God forbid that happens. I didn't get to bring anything back, but our guest will be joining us. He has a ton of stuff. I spoke to him a little bit before the show. He has a wall full of cool stuff, and I'm excited to have him on. But by the way, guys, got to let you guys know all the views and opinions expressed on the show are of those of myself, the host, Brad Parker, and that is it. It is not a direct reflection of the Score. So if you guys are going to go out there and spend $50 million on some memorabilia or LeBron James mouthpiece, that's on you. You could blame me. You could blame my guest all you want, but the Score is not liable, and we are not responsible. I could be responsible. That's fine. You give me some hate. I could take it. Yeah, speaking of weird, bizarre, out-of-the-ordinary pieces of memorabilia, we have a very special guest, like I said, joining us on this episode of Mint Conditions Live. Again, guys, ladies and gentlemen, every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Mint Conditions Live. Next week, we have one of my good friends, one of my constituents when I used to go to NBA games to interview athletes before the pandemic. I would see him at all the games. We've developed a friendship over the years. One of the best NBA photographers in history. He's been in the league since 1984. My boy, Nat Butler, will be joining us live next week. That's the guy. Literally, you may not know the name, but every iconic NBA photo in history, whether it's on a sports card, an 8x10, a 16x20, literally every picture you've seen, even the footage from the Last Dance documentary, this is that of Nat Butler's. He owns the rights to it. Obviously, it's the NBA's, but odds are Nat Butler captured that photo. He is the man, and he's got a ton of stories for us. So, again, tune in next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But right now, more importantly, we have a man joining us. He's huge on Instagram and Clubhouse. He's the host of The Buster Show. I just gave it away. Damn. He's the founder of the IG page Hoops Nation, over 1 million followers, and Card Nation. Love that page because it's all about sports cards. He's amongst Sports Business Journal's 30 under 30. He's 20 years old, but he's got the maturity level of a 40-year-old. He knows his history. He's the man. He interviews big-time athletes and celebrities on the reg, which I love. And he's a massive, massive collector of really weird and obscure sports memorabilia, non-sports memorabilia, and just sports cards in general. And it's so awesome to have him. So, ladies and gentlemen, flood the chat from my man, Buster, ladies and gentlemen. Buster, say what up, Buster.
What's going on? Thank you so much for having me.
Bro, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to have you on. It's a privilege. And I already see the wall behind you, bro. It's incredible. How happy are you that
Always incredibly happy.
you're great it's great to have this stuff, right? It's awesome. It's great to talk about it.
Dude, you know, beyond just having the stuff, it's so fun to have conversations with people who are also passionate about it and want to learn about it. And when you really do your due diligence and research into the cards and industries and sectors that you're in, you learn things. You learn history. You learn things about the sports, about some of the sports that you collect that you never knew. And then, it turns into both a collection and a vehicle to build that, but also an investment vehicle. And that's also super fun. So if you're able to have fun in every sector of your life, it's great. So to be able to amplify the fun having in investing and collecting,
Totally could not agree with you anymore. Just from a personal opinion, it's so great. I'm 30, you're 20 years old. Age is just a number, but I'm just going to let you know that we are a little bit of a different generation. But it is so nice to see, so refreshing to see other people out there that enjoy sports cards, memorabilia, all the stuff that I thought was dead for years, dude. When I went off to college in 2009, this wasn't a thing. I put all my sports cards away. I went off to SUNY Buffalo. I wanted to make friends. I didn't want to open up packs of cards or collect 8x10 autographs. I put them away, forgot about it. I'm an idiot because I should have been collecting that entire time. I missed out on a decade of collecting stuff. All the LeBron James refractor rookie cards I could have got for $4,000. It's such a buzzkill to look back on it now. And where's that?
There were some bad years in there, though. Like, there were some bad draft classes.
You're absolutely right. Like, nobody wants an Andrew Bogut autograph, X-Fractor. You're absolutely right. Dude, I'm with you, but I missed out on, like, Anthony Davis, Kyrie, Giannis, things like that. Thank God I got in on Durant. I got in on Harden. I got in on Curry.
Well done.
Just made that. But long story short, it's great and refreshing to see someone like yourself who's a voice for everyone out there that is obsessed with the sports memorabilia world, the non-sports stuff, the obscure things, the things that really hold true value, and the fact that you find it important to have conversations about this and spread the word, spend the knowledge to everyone. It's great. So I applaud you for that, and your platform is great. So thank you for that, for real. And just being a fan of the hobby.
Thank you, man. That's awesome.
For real.
And yeah, I think it's such a crazy time because, we've seen, I'll just use a Giannis rookie card as an example. We see a card that was $1 all day just a few years ago to being $5,000, and the volatility moving at faster paces than cryptocurrency just makes you want to get out and, make sure that everybody knows what's happening, is at least knowledgeable on the history of cards and how to protect themselves, diversifying their card portfolio and things like that to protect themselves if they're in it for investing and even if they're just in it collecting. So it's important that you're doing stuff like this as well, just educating people, because that's the biggest thing missing in the hobby. It's all about buying. Buying is the easiest thing in the world. Selling is difficult.
Correct.
And there's not enough content out there.
Correct. I totally agree with you. And listen, I'll be the first one to let you know, up until the pandemic, before I went home to my parents' house, I was just a collector. I have all my cards. Thank God I was OCD from the jump. Put them all in top loaders, put them all in protective sleeves. Took them
man.
I had to, dude. I had to. But that's my parents. They didn't bless me with too much,
right.
But they gave me the OCD bug. I got bit by it. But yeah, I mean, I have all these cards. I'll show you a couple in a little bit. And I can't wait to see your stuff. But I just got back into the hobby. I have a roommate who's obsessed with this stuff. He's a little ahead of me in his investments. He has some high-end stuff. But it's crazy to think how everything's back. And I'm just getting back into it. So I'm more of like, I've been a collector my whole life. And now I see a window of opportunity where I could make some bucks, make some coin. I don't have a wife, I don't have kids, but I do pay rent. And I have responsibilities. So it's a nice way to make some extra side money. And not to mention, it's fun as hell, dude. And you're right. Anyone could sit there and buy all day, depending on how much money you have, of course. But the hard part is is selling, and I think the hard part is also, depending on who you ask, people forget the research aspect of things. They need to do their due diligence and put in the time and effort to do their research. I talked about it in one of the episodes in Mint Conditions. I mean, could you touch upon how important it is before you start, going out there spending your every dollar? Research is important, am I right?
I mean, we live in a day and age where it's one click to purchase, right? And the danger of that is that you feel like everything you're buying is the greatest thing ever, no matter what you're getting or where, because it's all the same process, right? And even once you get it, the dopamine rushes that you get getting a card in the mail and even buying it online are so intense. It's like gambling. It's the same thing. You get the same emotions and impact, neurologically,
Right.
right? But uh, the importance of it is just like anything else. You need to do 100+ hours of research before you spend a dollar. And there's a point to where I will say just getting your feet wet is good, right? So you can go out and spend $10 or $20 just to get something and feel it and see it. Do you like the feeling of opening a card? But after that, you got to do your 100 hours of research.
Correct.
You got to do it, because otherwise you're gonna get got. And that's not necessarily the worst thing ever. Just get got before you really, really go in.
Correct.
Get got on that $20 first purchase that makes you happy for a second and you can justify the loss. Don't get got on, your savings being dumped into cards because you think that Zion Williamson is going to be the next Michael
Or
Jordan.
Tyler
Keep, keep,
Hero is going to pop. Like, come on.
keep. They might be. This has nothing to do with them. But if the NBA ended today, the league was shut down, their value goes to zero.
Correct. And the Hall of Famers, the GOATs, the guys that have cemented themselves in history forever, their value is going to remain. Am I right?
Absolutely. Guys that have, people that would be taught about in school. That's sort of the lens and framework at which I look
I
at it
like that a
through.
lot, actually. Yeah.
Like who is worthy of being taught about? You immediately think of guys like Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell. Like those are some of the names, like Pele, like these legends, Babe
The
Ruth,
trendsetters, you're absolutely right. The guys
the
that
sport
the
leaders.
guys that you
Yeah.
learn about before you could even walk and talk, of course. And you just see their
Yep.
pictures. I totally get it. And even like the LeBrons, MJs, Kobe's of the world. I mean,
Yeah, they're that too.
right. I think they were all
100%.
on the same playing field. And I agree. I don't like to give too much advice because now my friends, they're all Bitcoin and all that fun stuff. And I respect that. But I'm all about diversifying your portfolio. And I tell them, guys, you're all sports fans. You love sports. You see me, who's like a safe investor in things. I don't like to gamble too much. But I'm doing well with sports cards. And yes, I have a baseline knowledge. I also have a massive collection that I've had from childhood. So it's a little easier for me because I know I'm playing with house money
Right.
at the end of the day. They're starting from
But
scratch.
I will say the problem with advice in any investment is you will be told when to buy, but never when to sell.
Correct.
And that is why you cannot give advice to anybody no matter what. Unless you're going to be there at the finish line cheering them on, you can't push them into the race, And that's something that I learned, 2 years ago when I was just getting into cards. And fortunately, the people that I told to get into it as well, it was at a point where it was so early that literally anything they could have done was a win. But if I had done that this year, or last year even, there are points at where if I wasn't there to tell them, and if I have no skin in the game, I can't justify spending that time to tell them when to do this or that. They can figure it out on themselves. And if they have a question, I'm happy to answer. I'm
Correct.
happy to give my thoughts. But I don't want to put anybody else in that sort of a position. And that's how I look at all investment advice on social media. It's like you get told from TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and Google and this article and this politician and this and that where to put your money and what to do with it. None of them are going to be there at the finish line telling you when to get out of your
And they don't
investment.
care if
That's
you
why
lose it all.
and they don't care if you lose because they have no skin in the game,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Unlike a financial advisor or somebody like that who's a little bit more skin in it. So that's why you can't trust anybody's, and you just have to do your own due diligence.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I could not agree with you more. And everyone listening, that's big facts out of Buster's mouth right there. I totally agree. When I do say that I give advice to my friends, it's literally I say to them, my first piece of advice is do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. I'm a content creator at the Score. I have a little side hustle. where I do collect sports cards and trade them and buy them and sell them and all that stuff. But I am not a financial advisor. I am not responsible for what you do with your money, with your hard-earned money. And at the end of the day, like, you have to make your own decisions. So I have friends that are out there seeing me buying stuff, and like my roommate, for example, just bought a box of like Topps Chrome UFC cards because he likes UFC. Like, bro, I'm not telling you to do that. That's on you. If you don't pull anything of value, you can't blame me. At the end of the day, you got to do your research. If you're bullish on UFC cards, go for it. And by all means, they could go up in value, and who knows, and we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, like, I can't be responsible for my friends, for strangers, for anyone. You got to do your own due diligence. But we got to get to this. So last week's episode of Mint Conditions, episode 9, we talked about the most obscure sports memorabilia and non-sports memorabilia to ever sell. And it's such perfect timing to have you on because I know I've just followed you on social media and I've seen some of the crazy stuff, the unconventional memorabilia that you've collected over the last couple of years. I know you have some crazy purchases. I know you have a crazy collection. So before you show me anything, I got to know, what is it that made you so interested in collecting this unconventional memorabilia?
You know, I heard you're open. I could never be somebody who's bidding on a jock strap or a mouth guard or something like that. You know, and truthfully, I've had people offer me locks of Abraham Lincoln's hair. Like,
Stop.
this has been like, people have offered it to me with a price, and I said no, that's too extreme for me.
Fair
but
enough.
thank you.
So wait. Real quick, just let's set the record straight. Buster does have, there is a line. You have a limit of what you'll buy. And
Absolutely, absolutely. That line is anything that is like body related,
Right.
like extreme. Like, if I know somebody who owns one of Abraham Lincoln's top hats, I'm all about that. Like, that is sick.
a used worn one?
Yeah, I mean, not game worn, but yeah, life used. Yeah,
Gabe Moore and Abe Lincoln top hat.
game worn. Yeah.
Theater
But
worn. Is that too soon?
the mouth guards, and that's too much
Are
for
you
me.
about that life? Are you about the denture life of Ty Cobb?
No, I'll pass on that one. I'll take the loss there. But
Dude,
what got me into some of this random stuff was just, you know, looking at some of these modern cards and seeing the populations in the tens of thousands and seeing the volatility. You know, I thought, you know, what I look at when I make any card or related investment is, all right, if I'm buying this, who else owns it? So you look at a card like Zion or Luca, who else owns it? It's a lot of other kids and people who are trying to flip it to make more money.
Yes.
Well, when you look at an Abraham Lincoln autograph or a Wilt Chamberlain, you know, old piece, or a Bill Russell signed check, you know, just random things like that. You look at who else is at the cap table, right? It's people who are much wealthier, who don't need the money, therefore are less likely to sell, no matter what happens. And it's just a different type of person. And I think being in those groups, when the demand hits and exceeds the supply, which is very easy to happen for something with such a low population, things get crazy. And there's a lot less risk involved because of who else owns them. So that's the main thing, in addition to just the stuff being cool to me. And like, I was into prisms at one point. I have a Miles Turner silver prism behind me because I collect people who have been on the podcast.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
That's like a PC thing I do.
like
I got Walt Clyde Frazier over there. I even have my own Buster card. We did
Let's see the Buster card.
Buster cards for charity.
Is that an auto?
What's
Is that an auto? Auto Buster?
That's an auto.
Love that, dude.
Signed rookie card. We only made 10 of them, and I bought one of them.
How do I buy one?
But
how does anyone out there watching buy one?
shoot, you can't anymore. We did 10 for charity for a company in Australia. We did for two companies. One, New York City youth sports organization that helps get underprivileged kids involved in youth sports.
Awesome.
And the other one was an Australian coral reef company that's restoring the Great Barrier Reef. So, and they sold out immediately, and all the money went directly to the charities. But we are going to do more. So it's at the charity cards.
Awesome,
That's
dude.
where I have a charity card brand.
Love that. Guys, hear that out there? Buster has a charity card brand. I think that's awesome. You don't have a Jerry West auto or a card in there, do you?
I 100% have. I have
I knew it.
Jerry West signed business card.
Boom! I saw that on one of your TikToks. Some obscure business cards that are signed by owners and GMs.
Love that, man.
That's so sick,
Love
dude.
that.
I brought mine.
I got that the day after he was on my podcast. I went out and bought it.
How dope was that? Interviewing the logo.
Dude, he's the man. He doesn't want to be the logo though. Interestingly, I didn't refer to him once as the logo the
Really?
entire interview.
Is he
Yeah.
all about Kobe becoming the logo eventually?
No, he's just pissed off that he never got paid for it.
Oh my God, that's so true. He didn't get paid.
The NBA doesn't acknowledge that it's him.
Who do they think it is?
They just don't say that it's
That's
anybody.
kind.
They say that it's a
That's
silhouette.
kind of whack.
Super
I
whack.
don't like that at all. But I mean, it is. That's actually a crazy story. You didn't even mention it. I got my. I had to bring mine out.
Oh, that's
I
sick.
got my Jerry.
That's a famous set, bro. The Will Chamberlain in that set's
I would do anything,
insane.
dude. I have this.
It's like 30
It is 30
grand.
grand. I have this in Earl Monroe, Walt Frazier, George Gervin, and I did not pull the Wilt. I'm so pissed. I used to buy.
This is my
Let me
Will.
see. You got a Wilt? What is that on on just a piece of paper?
Just a signed yellow note
That's
card.
dope.
PSA DNA.
By the way, one of the prettiest autographs that there are. Can we admit that?
Yeah, man. He had such big hands. A lot of these big hand guys, they tend to have longer autos, which look nicer on paper.
Absolutely right. That's why my autographs are like that. They're tiny, tiniest hands ever.
Hey, mine's not the prettiest. I'm working on it.
Dude, that's the next episode. We're talking about like the ugliest, weirdest, worst, most ridiculous autographs on cards and memorabilia.
You ever see Cam Reddish, his auto on
It's
a
the
card?
worst thing ever. That's the one line.
One line.
Dude, what are we doing here? I'm going to be talking about that plenty. And there's a guy named Maurice Ager. Do you know that name?
No, I
A
don't.
no name from the '06 draft, and he just puts an A, a tiny little A, and sometimes he doesn't put the A.
Savage.
It's dude, savage. Granted, he's.
You want to see a beautiful autograph though?
Well, I was gonna ask. Show me some stuff right now. I want to see some stuff.
Pele.
Oh, dude, he's got the Pele auto. Let's go.
Dude.
Wait, that's
It's one of the nicest signatures.
and it's graded that card.
Graded 10, PSA 10, gem
Love.
mint.
People forget it sleeping on soccer cards. I mean, they're woke now. By the way, that auto is gorgeous.
Dude, I was so happy to be able to get that
How'd
one.
you pull that one? Where'd you get that one from?
I got it in Dallas at the
were
card
there?
show. I was there. I'm actually going to be at the next one too in two weeks
So,
or next
so
week.
I'm praying. I'm gonna be speaking to my bosses. I'm just speaking to Mod Ash, to Game Time Ash, about maybe sending me out there. I'm definitely gonna go to the National to get some content.
Ash, send him to Dallas, man.
know. Let him know.
But here's another beautiful
Let me
autograph.
see.
This is Larry Bird signed ticket to his own Hall of Fame induction.
To his own.
To his own, and it's gem mint 10
See,
graded.
Oh my God. So listen, folks, people are not just getting their cards graded, but they are getting photographs and they're getting just about anything graded, right? PSA will grade anything.
Everything, man. Everything. Here's another nice autograph. This is Usain Bolt signed Olympic ticket
Oh,
from when
that's
he
so-
set the world
That's
record.
so sick, dude. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's
Wait,
pretty-
how do you come across this stuff? Like, for anyone out there that's watching, like, if they wanted to, buy a new Usain Bolt, I don't want you to give away all your plugs or all your hookups, but like, where do you get this stuff?
I mean, shows are a great place, truthfully. Going to bigger card shows where there are tables with this kind of stuff, you just have to really seek it out. eBay's not really great. You should be aware of what's on eBay, what things are selling for, but unless it's PSA slab, don't even consider
I agree
it.
with that. Why
For autographs and things like
why
that.
are you against eBay so much? And I tend to agree with you. Are you talking from the perspective of like you don't want to be slapped with like the eBay fees and all that stuff? Because if you're talking from that perspective, I totally agree with you. Like it's ridiculous.
I think for autographs, the best stuff is in auctions, private collections, and at shows.
Okay.
You can find great stuff on eBay for sure. Just don't look at eBay as the end all be
Right.
all. It's just one component, one slice of a 16 slice pie,
I
right?
like that.
So that's how I look at that. Here's another cool one. President Jimmy Carter.
say?
He was a farmer before he was president of the United States, and this is a signed bond receipt by President
You
Carter.
gotta be kidding me,
Signature down
dude.
there.
Buster,
Yeah.
nobody has that. Do we know the pop report on that? It's definitely a 1 of 1. Are we like who are we kidding?
No, there are a few out there. I mean, it's one of a few bond receipts from when he was a farmer. Here's another cool one. This is President Benjamin Harrison
see.
signed check to a man named A.C. Dawson.
Oh, he's just bringing out the
in-
big guns.
in
You
1899.
gotta be kidding me. Let me see.
December.
Hold it a little closer.
Signed Benjamin
You've
Harrison
got to be kidding me. That is insane.
from right around when he was acting president.
What year was that?
1899.
Unbelievable. It's not even in the century, folks. What the hell?
How
do you display this stuff?
here's-
Just put it on shelves behind you and that's it?
No, dude. All this stuff is I don't keep this anywhere near my house. It's all at bank vault.
Smart, very smart. You brought it out for the
Yeah.
show, dude. It's too nice of you. I couldn't be asking for more.
If whenever I get a heads up, I'll bring it out, but it goes right back to the
I love
bank.
that. Let me see. What's that?
This is so- are you familiar with Remington, the gun
Of course,
manufacturer?
dude.
So this is one of the co-founders of Remington, the gun manufacturer. And this was signed on Christmas of
So,
1854.
for example, that's incredible. That's insane. I geek out for this stuff. What made you buy that? Why that?
Uh, Truthfully, what made me buy that exact one was seeing the popularity of guns on Pawn Stars, the TV
One of
show,
my favorite
and
shows.
knowing that people would go to the next level to get some more affordable
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stuff. So I thought Remington, who started it? So I started Googling and researching the founders, and it was founded by Black brothers. And then I just started looking for signed checks, and a private collector friend told me that he had that, and I was gonna buy a PSA 6 graded, but then he told me last minute that he had a PSA 9, which is super hard to
Gotta get
get
that
for
9.
old
Of course it
autographs.
is.
And anything old, like, dude, finding a Honus Wagner from the 20th century in a anything above a PSA 1 is like impossible, let alone, dude, a 9 from 100 years before that.
Well, let
Forget
me ask you
about it.
this: are they grading the autograph or the document itself?
The
Okay,
autograph. They're in the
because they're not going to
autograph.
grade that
Yeah.
document because it's a piece of like flaky paper that could break with the wind, right?
Yeah, it's a check. It's a check.
Dude, that's so sick.
Sometimes they will, but usually not. But like this, the reason why I was so excited to get this Lincoln was because
Folks,
it's a
that's an
10.
Abe Lincoln autograph, folks. Look at that.
Dude, it's an Abraham Lincoln PSA
Let me see.
10.
Hold up the 10.
I look I look everywhere and I can't find anything.
Oh
I can find
my
eights,
god.
sevens, nines, but then this came across through a private collector who knew that I wanted one, and we worked out a barter deal. It was
Trade
trade
and
and
barter.
cash, and I gave up some good stuff, but I was pretty
How
happy to get
can
this
I
one.
ask how much you paid for that, or how much it's worth?
Worth?
Do you think you could get over 10K for that?
I've been offered over 20.
Oh, hear that, folks?
Been offered.
Stop dropping coin on these rookie patch autos, everyone. That are obviously in high demand. Really cool conversation pieces. But Buster, why would a kid drop all this money on a Zion RPA or John Moran RPA or Tyler Hero when we have a piece of history like an Abe Lincoln autograph?
The reason is because there's higher upside on a shorter time period. That's the reason to look at the modern stuff still.
Yeah.
So even guys like LeBron, who 2 years ago was $1,000, like there are steals out there, like in other sports, UFC, soccer, things like that. Some baseball, if you're able to prospect well on a baseball player, you can make a
Of
fortune.
course.
Like if you are in 2011, knew Mike Trout was going to be Mike Trout, you're a multimillionaire right
Correct.
now, right? So that's why this stuff doesn't skyrocket overnight, so it's not exciting. It's like buying a precious metal, right? That's what I would liken it more to. So that's why it's not for everybody, but for people who are into that kind of stuff like me and you, obviously,
Yeah.
it's an alternate route to diversify your
I
collection.
agree. Listen, it's not the most exciting thing in the world. If you're not me or you, we think it's the most exciting thing ever.
It's the most exciting thing in
Dude,
the world.
I agree. I'm talking for everyone else out there that may not think so. They may not know their history. They may not have an appreciation for this stuff. But I do appreciate what you were trying to do on TikTok, where you pitted who wins a one-on-one, Bill Clinton or Abe. I think that's great.
So funny, man. Abe would have won if basketball wasn't invented yet, obviously, but he was pretty tall.
Well, correct me if I'm
Pretty
wrong.
tall. He was like 6'3".
He was 6'4", or 6'3"?
Yeah, something like
Oh,
that.
dude,
Yeah.
he's Jamal Murray size. He's gonna yam on Bill Clinton's face all day, 100%. Dollar Bill doesn't have a chance. And he's from.
Watch out, man.
I know, dude.
Watch
I would pay
out.
for that, dude. I appreciate your stuff. So my brother and my mom and dad have a bunch of stuff at the crib that we have. I just wanted. I wrote down some things that I have. I couldn't bring them, but I thought you'd appreciate. We have a Charles Lindbergh handwritten letter on the importance of kids getting involved in aviation and like the future of aviation.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Need to get that graded ASAP. I'm big on yearbooks, so I collect a lot of yearbooks of celebrities. So I have a Steven Spielberg signed yearbook, Jake Gyllenhaal,
No
some
way.
crazy stuff like
Spielberg's great.
dude, huge Spielberg fan. Obviously, we could talk about that all day. We might need another episode of that. But I have a President Grover Cleveland signed letter regarding the appointment of a soldier receiving a higher rank, which I thought you'd appreciate.
That's great.
I know you
Yeah,
like
I
president
definitely
stuff.
do.
We
Hmm.
have an 1865 New York Times John Wilkes Booth wanted for murder newspaper at the crib,
That's
which is
great.
cool. And then we have a 1788, which is nuts. Like that's literally when America was founded. Handwritten
Hmm.
ballot from the state of Massachusetts electing John Hancock as the new governor of Massachusetts.
That's a cool one.
So cool pieces like that. So we have that stuff amongst a lot of other stuff. I'm not gonna let anyone know the town I live, but we have some crazy stuff too. So I need to put my stuff in a bank vault. You're doing it right, dude. The fact that I took all my favorite sports cards and I brought them here because I want to start selling them and listing them on places and like getting involved in certain things and just having it on the show as well. But it's scary because unlike an NFT, these things could be stolen from you or damaged and things like that. So you're doing it right.
Oh,
When it,
I will say though, so can an NFT. You can lose access to accounts and things like
Very
that.
true.
I have friends who've lost six figures in locked out accounts and things like
You're
that.
kidding, and they forgot their password or PIN.
Mhm.
Well, you know about that guy who forgot his PIN, who has like hundreds of millions in
Half a
Bitcoin.
billion of Bitcoin. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's why the Bitcoin is it's the opposite of an inflationary coin because the population goes down, not up.
Are you a big crypto guy?
I mean, I feel like everyone and their moms has become a huge crypto guy in the last 90 days.
Agreed.
So I have not been in it since 2018. I am in it. So I believe in just generalized decentralization of everything,
Okay, fair enough.
including media, right? Like you and I both believe in that. I think that, 50 years ago there were six channels and now there are 6 million
Right.
channels, is a great thing.
I totally agree with that, 100%. I mean, Toby Fallow has a question for you, and I was actually about to ask this. What's your dream collectible? What's the one piece of strange memorabilia, sports or non-sports, that you always wanted, that you wish you could have, that maybe you had an opportunity to buy and you didn't? Is there anything out there that Buster needs and wants in his collection?
Yeah, when I look at what's the hardest to get, that's usually what I'm most drawn to. Like, I need a good George Washington in the
Oh yeah,
collection, but that I'm working on that. It'll be done by the end of the
let's
summer.
go.
But in terms of things that I haven't been able to
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
I'm a big history nut going like way back. So I'm thinking like, are there any King Tut hieroglyphics that I can get? Or like, that's where my head's at on those sorts
We're
of
talking
things. Like
museum piece type stuff.
ancient Roman Empire. Like I have Julius Caesar 1952 card over there. Like pieces like that.
Grab the
Like
Julius Caesar real
what
quick. I got to see that.
what is there? Well, where
If,
is
if you have it within
Galileo?
arm's reach, you have a
Yep,
Galileo.
here's Caesar from
You
1952.
gotta be
But
kidding me.
I love thing like if I could get a cooler piece, then like this is an ancient Greek
Yeah.
coin from 393
What's the
BC.
significance behind that coin?
Um, the significance behind this coin, it's pure silver, graded very
Okay.
fine, and it's the Athena owl. So Athena, the goddess, is on the back, and an owl is or Athena's on the front, owl's on the back, but the owl is more famous, so they put it on the front of the display
Okay.
case. But the reason why there's an owl on there is to signify that Big Brother is sort of watching over you. So don't spend it on anything bad like prostitutes and things
Fair
like
enough.
that.
And were they doing it
Um,
anyway?
Probably. I couldn't tell you. We all promised to each other back in 393
You
BC that what happens in ancient Greece stays in
love
ancient
that
Greece.
Buster's reincarnated from something from back in the day, and he remembers spending money on those. Dude, that's great. That's awesome. You have some stuff, and I'm sitting here happy that I have these LeBrons and Steph Currys and all this stuff. And like, look at you're holding pieces. You're gonna have a bust of Nefertiti very soon. I guarantee it.
A Buster
A
what?
bust of Nefertiti, the
Oh
famous
my
one.
God.
Things like that. It's crazy, dude. The stuff you have is insane. I cannot wait. We gotta hop on a live again when you do purchase that George Washington piece. You're telling me right now that I know you wouldn't get so crazy with like the body parts. You're telling me if someone offered you some wooden teeth of George Washington or one tooth of George Washington, a wood one for like 10K, 15K right now, you would turn it down?
Here's what I'll say.
Talk to me.
The one thing that I will buy teeth of, and I actually have, and I'll show you.
Yeah. Let me see.
So this is a it's called a mini museum, but there's a piece of a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth on the bottom
Okay.
left. There's a raptor bone, mosasaur, and I've actually bought via a friend's company, Rally. They've done fractional selling
Rally
of,
Road, right?
full, right, Triceratops skulls, and I bought into that. I own a part of a mosasaur skeleton, so I'm into stuff like that. I just can't do human
Dude,
things. I can do dinosaurs though. It's dinosaurs are all fair
dude, this is
game.
so great that you have this stuff. Honestly, I mean, outside of it being cool and expensive and a worthy investment and just like something that you love, how about the conversations that you could have with others about it? Let alone, I have a girlfriend now, but before I had a girlfriend, like I would bring this stuff up on dates. I quickly could find out if we're gonna hit it off or not, based off if she likes this stuff or not. And
Dude, that's great. I'm totally single, so I'm gonna remember that next time I'm on dates, and that'll be the test of whether the compatibility is
I think
there.
it should be completely based on that. I used to have the dating apps. I'd have Bumble or Hinge. I would say, listen, like,
Right.
excuse me, miss, I have a Charles Lindbergh autographed document. If you don't like it, swipe left. That's what I would say. Dude, stuff like that. I'm telling you, you're single. Enjoy your single days. But I'm telling you right now, like, as things start to open back up, you get back into the dating scene, whatever it is that you do in your spare time,
I have to tell them that I have a
a
Lincoln. Like that
million
has to be the
percent.
first thing.
By the way, you're really cute. And I love this restaurant where we're at. By the way, what drink do you want? When you're old enough to drink, obviously. But what I'm saying is, I got an Abe Lincoln Auto. It's a PSA 10. If the girl says, like, what is that? Or, like, who cares or whatnot, the date's not going to go well. But at the end of the day, if she's like, oh my God, that's so cool. An Abe Lincoln? Wait, what? He's the 16th president? Wait a minute, you should get his game used top hat. Like, dude, it's game over. It's literally game over.
Well, then I'm just dating myself
Correct. Correct. That was just dangerous because opposites
at that
attract.
at that point, right?
Dude, I gotta see. You're absolutely right. I want to show you a couple of my sports cards. I gotta brag a little bit, and then I want to
Hell
see
yeah.
some of yours. You want to see some of mine real quick?
Let's see.
All right, real quick. So this is my favorite. I have to get this graded. By the way, I do have 87 cards. I'm sorry, 187 cards out at PSA right now. I'm sure you know what's going on. I even have a plug there. Humble brag, but a lot of people do. I sent them out for 20-day submission in October, and I have no clue where they are. They are in the sports card abyss right now, and I'm kind of freaking out. Every day I get an email. I keep refreshing my page, just waiting on that email that they're coming to me, and it's just like, when is this happening already?
That's why I don't submit cards anymore. It's too stressful.
Dude, you're absolutely right. It's a big deterrent to people that are getting into the hobby because
Somebody just texted me today who also is a PSA Connect. They were like, I have $1 million of cards at PSA.
oh
And I haven't heard anything from anybody, and they're not even in the system because he handed them off through his rep,
right.
and now his rep won't respond. So it's like, holy, like there's no other industry where you could have $1 million of something and somebody not
Yes.
responding other than sports
Yes,
cards.
you're absolutely right. Dude, that's very oh, now you're giving me anxiety. Where am mine? I don't have even close to 1 million, but
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter what you have.
it's
I mean,
mine.
obviously they're just over. There's just too much going
Dude, you're
on.
absolutely right. Like this, I'm afraid to send this in, but I pulled this not too long ago. Actually, yeah, long ago in '07. But a LeBron auto jersey numbered at a 10.
No way.
Yeah, dude, this is one of my favorite pieces.
You have it? Let's see it.
Here, I showed it to the fans. Here's this.
Dude, that's a huge
Isn't that
card.
it's
That's
huge,
awesome.
right? Thank
Congrats.
you, bro.
You pulled
Pull
that.
this in a pack.
I can't believe it. That's
so
amazing.
Buster, back in the day, kids these days they don't know, but
Oh, you pulled that a long time
yes,
ago.
in like '07, '08. So back in
Wow.
the day when boxes were affordable, you could go to a card show at a Hofstra University and drop $160 on a box of SPX. That was awesome. And you go home and open that on a Saturday watching NBA on ABC, and like that was great. And nowadays, like, dude, I just want to open up a box and like spend less than
Dude.
$200. It'd be great.
It's impossible.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really insane.
I mean, dude, here's another one. So obviously, I had to get the Grail.
That's
I
great.
got my Jordan PSA 8.
Amazing.
But again, the pop count is pretty massive on that. The sticker just came in the mail. Had to get the Jordan sticker for the
Nice.
86. Right?
I love that you went with the goats.
Had to go with the goat. So I'm big on that. And I don't give advice out, but I do say to people, if you're going to invest in sports cards or collect, in my opinion, You should go after the guys that have cemented themselves, the GOATs, the guys that are the safe bets, the guys that could do no wrong. If something, God forbid, happens like controversial in their career, their value set in stone outside of like murder, God forbid, or something like that. But
OJ's held up pretty well.
right, fair enough. You're absolutely right.
He's held up pretty
Dude, the
well.
Bronco.
All things considered,
You're,
it's kind of shocking
you're
actually.
absolutely right. So remember when I said I went off to college in '09? The last box that I opened before this year, because I opened up a couple boxes on the live show, and I pulled trash, by the way, absolute garbage. I haven't pulled anything good. Panini Mosaic box and a box of hoops. We're due. I pulled absolutely garbage. And I tell everyone, don't buy boxes. It's a huge gamble. Buy individual cards if you're going to do anything. It's a safer bet. You might spend a little more. People love the thrill of opening boxes. I don't blame them. But the last box that I opened in 2009, I pulled not one Steph Curry auto rookie, but two.
Holy crap.
How wild is that?
That's
One's
crazy.
number to 50, one's number to 100.
You know what? One thing I will say though is you've got me thinking now. The best way I think to attack the PSA situation
Tell me.
is to sell the raw as raw and use the funds to buy it graded.
Buster, I love that you just said that because that is exactly. I'm not going to turn you around right now, but my entire shelves over there are filled with raw cards from my childhood that hold value, but I call them like crap cards, like the dog-ish stuff that like they hold value, but they're not. I'm consolidating right now. I'm in the middle of consolidation, and the card market's down, so I'm taking full advantage of it right now. It ebbs and flows. It's kind of correcting itself. I thought it would.
So you're buying right now.
Correct. I honestly think that now is the time to buy. I just bought this LeBron PSA 10.
That's an amazing card.
Gary V had 53 of them. Like he bought them for like $1,000 2 years ago. I got the paper 10. I just got my.
I remember Gary asked me. We played basketball at All Star in Chicago last year together,
yeah?
and he at the end of it he was like, "How many LeBrons do you
Did
have?"
he say
And I
that?
had two at the time. He was like, "How many LeBrons?" And he was like, "What price?" I overpaid at the time, but now it's like all a joke. And I sold them both, but it was really funny. He loves that card. He's buying them again. He just posted on
I know.
Twitter.
He's asking people who has them. I
Yeah.
should reach out 100%, but I'm not letting this baby go. Wait, so you own two PSA 10 Chromes?
Well, I had them. I sold them
Not
too early.
I mean, no one could have known, but it's cool that you did own them at one point.
Yeah, no, I was happy too. I mean, if you sell things for a profit, you really can never kick
I
yourself.
totally agree with that 100%. I got my Kobe 10, the paper, the iconic one, and then this
That's
I
great.
love. So we talk about cards at like low pop. This is like an eBay one of one. We got the jersey auto, but it's numbered jersey number 24 out of 99.
Wow, that's great.
So love this card. Obviously near and dear to my heart. I grew up a Kobe fan, and like that era is my thing. And then I got my my Durant Chrome rookie, and then my top.
I love it, man.
I-
You got some real bangers.
Dude, wait, a few more and we're done. I want to see some of your stuff. I got my Gretzky.
I love
I got my
it.
Babe. I got my
love
second year mantle, PSA 5,
Love it.
but I'll take it. And then I got my boys. I got to get this lineup. I got my Charizard. I got my Blastoise. I got my Venusaur. And then, dude, people are sleeping on the Marvel cards, I think. So I got my rookie Hulk. People forget that Hulk had a rookie season. Probably was on steroids. And I got my 86 Marvel sticker. PSA 10.
I love it.
So people are sleeping on these non-sports cards as well. But I got to say, show me some of your cards. Do you have any in arm's reach?
Shoot, man. A lot of them you see behind me. So like what I like to do is pick sets. Like, you know, I bought a ton of these guys. So Jeter's SP foil rookies and all grades.
Love.
You know, and I'm still buying them because they're down right now. But you know, a lot of stuff like that. But when I find sets that I love, I just go all in on them. So Look and See, as you can see behind me, is from 1952. They made they picked the 130 most influential people in human history and made a card set out of it. And because it was 1952, the same year as the famous mantle, and it's actually the same style as the mantle too, as you
Let's
can
see
see on this Lincoln, for example.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
So because I saw these, I was like, this is all of their rookies. This is Lincoln's Topps rookie. This is Galileo's, Da Vinci's, Amelia Earhart, George Washington, Albert Einstein. It's all their rookies. So I bought 700 of them.
Dude, that's you what? Wait, how many?
That's 700.
Buster,
Yeah.
that's
So, like,
insane.
when
That's an insane collection.
when I find things that I really love, I just go all in on them. But I really am like a fan of like the random
Let
weird
me see.
stuff, right? So Bill Clinton signed first pitch
That's
card,
dope.
old Willie Mays stuff. I love Willie.
Gotta love Willie.
But I'm really into like the random oddball stuff deep. Like this Phil Knight signed business card,
What?
Greg Popovich
You
signed
have a
business
pop auto? I
card,
love pop.
Pop Auto,
What's the pop report on a
Jeter
pop?
signed rookie. Probably between 1 and 5. I've seen one other. You gotta have. I have a bunch of these actually. Joe Rogan rookies.
What?
Um, I have. This is the base version. This is the silver version. Silver is numbered to 288. The highest grade ever is a PSA 6. They're
Why are
impossible
they
to
such
grade,
tough
and there's
grades?
so few. Because the corners, even on this one, it's not perfect, but I think it's higher than a
Dude,
6.
Joe Rogan,
Um,
all bent out of shape.
But yeah, man, I just have stacks and stacks of like weird random autos. Like here's Buzz Aldrin, who
You've
went to the
got to be
moon,
kidding me.
Apollo 11, uh, Bill Clinton, President Ford, Sandy Koufax,
Love the
Obama,
Koufax.
George Bush, like all these guys. And I will say the one thing in when you're collecting presidents is you have to put politics aside and just collect that people are just based on the president. I collect Democrats, Republicans, people who are independent, everybody. You can't
You
you
can't
can't
discriminate,
pick
right?
a side. You can't pick a side as a collector. So that's one thing I will say. But the most famous card in the set though, this is the Queen Elizabeth rookie,
Oof. No
1952
one has that. If
tops.
that was autographed, that would be even crazier, obviously. But they didn't have.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, they
that
didn't
would
have
be
tops from Queen
that
Elizabeth.
would be crazy. But like here, I'll show you.
Dude.
I'll show you one other thing. This is a big stack, and this is truthfully only a small portion of what I actually have of this guy.
Yeah.
But every single one is President Jimmy Carter.
What? Why are you such a Jimmy Carter buff?
uh, because he's the cheapest presidential autograph, and I know that when people get into presidential autographs, they're gonna go for the cheapest stuff to get their feet in the
Correct.
door. So I might as well own them all.
Is he the, now? Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't he the oldest living president right now?
He's also the oldest living president.
That's huge. Dude, Jimmy, that's so cool. You need to have him on the show, by the way, and you need to
Dude,
show him what you have. You
I need to have him on the podcast so
so
bad. Trust
I
me.
think
I'm
I
with
think
you.
that you absolutely need him on. If you want to trade,
He's really smart.
I know, no, I know he is, of course. And how old is he now? Probably in his like early 90s, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You got to have him on. I will trade you a limited edition Jay-Z piece of jeans for Jimmy Carter auto.
How much of the Jay-Z
I
jeans
have no idea. I
cards?
pulled this in a box of Topps 2007 luxury box.
That's so
I saw you
funny.
talking about a Jay-Z auto that just sold. I think on Golden, right?
Yeah, sold for
Dude, it's
100K.
insane. Stuff like that. It's absolutely wild. By the way, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts? And I know you're going to be into it. I'm a hater, so don't get on me too much. What are your thoughts on Top Shot, on Zed Run, this whole entire NFT market, the future of it? What's the negatives? Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm heavily invested in the tangible, physical aspect of owning cards, trading cards, investing in cards, buying, selling. NFTs come around and Top Shot. I respect it. I have a ton of friends that have millions of dollars in it. They can't all get it out, thanks to Dapper. But
Shout
I know,
out.
shout out. But they'll address it, I'm sure. I'm just hating. But it's cool to a degree. I like the serial number aspect of things, but I haven't jumped on the Top Shot train. So like, I wanted to get your thoughts on it and like where you think it's headed and if you're a fan.
That was quite the rave review.
Dude, I had to. Don't judge me.
I'm just
Don't
kidding.
judge me.
I'm just kidding.
I'm like I'm a hater.
You know, I try to look at things from an outsider's perspective. And originally, when Top Shot was brought to me in December, I said, "This is a joke. You know, it's impossible." 3 months later, I'm 50 Top Shots deep, and I sold everything. I'm out of it completely. But that isn't to say that it's not going to be something big or it couldn't continue to grow. Dapper is super smart. They have great leadership. But it's I sort of look at it as, and I will say, I will give a disclosure as well. I'm an advisor for an NFT platform. It's called Eternity,
Are
and
you?
what we do is launch celebrity NFTs, but individually and only the greats. So we did Muhammad Ali 2 weeks ago. We did Pele's NFT drop last
I heard about
week.
that one.
We did Tony Hawk today. So I was on with Tony this morning, just
You
talking
spoke to
about it.
Tony today?
Yeah, he's the man. It's his birthday today too.
Dude, shout out happy birthday to
Um,
Tony Hawk. By the way, it's kind of cool. You spoke to Brad Parker from The Score and Tony Hawk in the same day. It's pretty wild.
yeah, in that order. Um,
Jokes, jokes.
no, so the thing about that is it's super limited and it's exclusive to that, whereas Top Shot is more of like the prism of NFTs. And then, things like Eternity are much more limited and higher
Okay.
end. And there's a place for both, right? And the OpenSea, places like Zed. I own a horse.
Do you own one?
As some people, yeah, I have a Zed horse. Yeah, Z10 something
See,
or
that I
other.
find interesting. I think that's really cool because I hate horse racing, like the physical aspect of it. I'm not a fan. I think it's like way behind the times. If they want to make it cool again, I think Zed Run is a way to inspire younger generations to fall in love with horse racing. I think that's cool. The Top Shot thing, I can't wrap my head around. I will not buy a moment. I will not buy a pack. I think, dude, I think it's so whack. And like, yes, maybe I need to do more research. Maybe I'm a little bit of an old head and I'm a late adopter, which I might be. But it's also because I have so many physical cards. So it's a little bit of me saying like, ugh, I don't want Top Shot to take away from the money going into physical cards, and I feel like it has.
Well, here's the thing too, and this is what I've realized. A lot of people, unless you're buying the best of the best, right? You're buying some of this limited stuff like
Yeah,
the Eternity stuff I'm talking about. You're usually better off just hodling your Ethereum
fair enough.
because it is very hard to for these NFT projects to outpace the rate at which Ethereum has grown in the last three
I've
months.
I put some bucks into Ethereum. I think Ethereum's the future. I agree with that 100%. Is that ironic though? Like I'm not a Top Shot fan, and like I haven't gotten involved in Zed Run, but I do appreciate and support Ethereum. Like, is that weird?
Well, look at it this way. People being into Top Shot and these projects helps Ethereum.
Correct. Which in turn impacts my investment.
Supply and demand.
Dude, you're absolutely right. I don't see the Top Shot thing taking off. I see it like being a quick flip right now. People are buying packs for $9, $14, $149. They're pulling moments, but I just don't see like look at behind you. Like look how you have the shelf and you can show off everything, and that's incredible. I love that, dude. That resides with me. Like I love that. But
But I will say this, and I know where you're going,
talk to me.
and I don't disagree with you, but there are companies like Infinite Objects, for example, that make small digital screens the size of sports
Yeah.
cards that show off your NFT, so you have a physical representation of your NFT.
That's cool. Would you purchase one of those? Would you show one off?
Yeah, totally.
Dude, I haven't gotten into it yet. I can't. I don't know what it is, and I really, dude, I don't want to be that guy and say, oh, I could pull it up on YouTube. That's like an age-old argument that everyone's talking about, but it's just like,
Well, here's the difference, right? Let me put it to you like this. And this is the way that my good friend Jeremy Padower explained it to
okay,
me. And the way that he said it was, you know what the difference between an NFT and this card is? In material value. Do you know what that number is?
probably pennies.
1 penny. This cardboard that this card is printed on is 1 penny. So the difference between the digital and the physical is 1 penny. Now you determine what that thing is worth based on supply and
Right.
demand. And the supply says that this is worth something because you have the ability to sell it. If you look up the NBA highlight on YouTube, you can look at it, but the value isn't to be able to look at it. The value is to be able to resell it. You can't resell the highlight that you Google on YouTube without infringing on the NBA's copyright and getting
Right.
sued. Dapper has a relationship with the NBA as to where you can through their platform. So the value isn't seeing it or having it, it's having the ability to sell it. And that's where the value
Well
is.
said. Very well said.
And I'm not even the biggest fan of it. I don't even own any anymore, right? But
You have no more
I
moments?
maybe I have a couple, but you know, uh I think that I try to look at things from an unbiased perspective as I can, and that's
Fair
my
enough.
angle.
Fair enough. No, dude, that's wild. I mean, I thought you were like a huge Top Shot guy. I thought you were huge on NFTs, but you
I
still
am
are.
huge on
You are.
NFTs. Yeah, I'm huge on NFTs because of Eternity. It's made me fall in love with like the real high end
So do you
stuff.
think that that physical card market, the physical memorabilia market, and then the NFT market could coexist? Do you think there's no problem with that?
Yeah, they're totally
Because
different,
I
totally
feel
different.
like, no,
Yeah, and you
I
need
get that, but I'm
both.
saying like I feel like the card market has there's been some money taken out of the physical card market and dropped into Top Shot, things like that. Like I feel like that's caused a little bit of the reason why the physical sports card market is down right now because Top Shot blew up in February and March, and everyone wants a moment, and like some of the money got sucked out of physical sports cards, and that's good for me because I started buying. However, it's the playoffs now, and I thought, and a lot of people I spoke to Sports Card Investor a couple days ago, and a bunch of people, they're like, the playoffs come around, there's hype, so like sell the hype, and usually when the hype dies down, is when the playoffs happen. Like LeBron cards went down after he won the finals. Now in a normal world, like you wouldn't think that.
Well, because you have to remember that the hype is baked into the value of the
Right,
card. So the LeBron winning was baked into the value. So once he won, there was nothing left to be baked
right,
into.
right.
That's why.
I mean, that makes sense. But I mean, it's scary to see. There's no hype. There's hype for the playoffs now, but like cards are like they're flatlining. They're correcting themselves. It's kind of annoying. I hope LeBron cards go back up for Space Jam 2. Fingers crossed. Let's go. But like, who knows, dude? Like,
Space, dude, that's like you sound like one of those eBay headlines.
I know,
It's like Space Jam coming
I
soon,
know,
invest
I know,
now.
I know, dude. eBay's paying me by the. No, they're not. I wish, but
That's
dude,
funny.
but like my Kobe cards. Like I bought a bunch of Kobe cards, thinking all these like rare refractors from 96, 97. I thought they were gonna go up in value because he's getting elected into the Hall of Fame in next week. Garnett, Duncan.
Remember, that's baked in. It's baked in. So once it happens, it goes down.
I know, but they haven't. They've been going down for like a month already. I'm waiting for them to go back up. It's like, but now with that being said, if you want to look at where these cards were a year ago, they're way up. So that's nice. It
Totally.
depends on how you look at it.
Totally. Hey, all about perspective
Dude,
and how far are you willing to zoom out?
Dude, you're absolutely right. Last question I got to ask you before I let you go. You've been a pleasure. It's great having you on. I wish we had like 3 more hours. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but we could talk all day about this stuff. What's your advice for young people or old people alike who are trying to become, influencers like yourself and, want to become an avid collector of memorabilia or cards? Like, what's your advice for someone out there that's looking to get started?
Influencers do what you love and don't listen to anybody who tries to get you to do something different than what you love. And on the collector front, it's similar. It's buy what you love, but do your due diligence and research. And if you really love it, then you'll go a step further than everybody else, which will get you to find the thing that nobody else can. And then trust your gut.
Great advice. Dude, you're great. I really appreciate you giving the time and taking time out of your busy schedule. Of course, we got to connect. I know you're in Connecticut. I'm in New York. We got to link up. You're 45 minutes to Grand Central.
Metro
North
man.
for days. I literally live down the block. I'm on 38th, and I'm not going to say the avenue because I have a lot of cards here, but I'm on 38th Street.
Yeah, you're right by
Dude,
Grand
I'm
Central.
literally a hop, skip, and a jump away. We got to link. We got to play some hoops, and I'll show you some of my stuff because I have plenty more, dude. Like, I showed you, like, 1/50th of my collection. It's crazy. But
Nice,
man. I love that you have this stuff too. We could talk about it all day. Love to have you on another episode coming up in the future if you're down. And it's been a pleasure. So love what you're doing. Love what you're doing for the hobby and for all the collectors out there. So appreciate the time, brother.
Thanks, man. You're far too kind.
You're
Thank
the man,
you.
dude. Let me know if I ran out of compliments already. Buster, be good, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank
Be
you.
good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, there you had it. Buster joined us live. He came, he saw, he conquered. We saw some of his craziest pieces of memorabilia. He is the man for joining us, taking out the time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, this week we will be dropping Mint Conditions episode 10, where I dive into the world of the most whack autographs of all time. And there's a lot of them, folks. So stay tuned. The episode drops tomorrow. And we will see you guys next week on Mint Conditions Live, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch and YouTube. Thanks for following. Thanks for stopping by. And we have Nat Butler joining us, folks. One of the best NBA photographers, one of the most infamous in history. So thanks so much for tuning in. Have a good night and stay safe. Yo, that's a wrap.